Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into Red, White, and Bills weekly picks segment, week number 6. Matt Chatter's already in the building, wants another mic battle. Yeah, we're going to try to get the debate up again this week. Keith is going to be going, defending his belt, and Brett will have to go if no one else can. I was trying to get someone different to oppose him, but if nobody wants to oppose him, then Brett is more than welcome to get revenge. But Brett, how you doing today?
Well, man, I got to tell you, I was running it very close, trying to get all the way back to the studio and get back in time. Sorry for running a couple minutes late, guys, but Sean is always holding down the fort, man, and I really do appreciate him for being so patient with me. But I'm doing good, man. I got to see my nieces and nephews and some family as well, and I thought for sure I was going to get out of there in time, but they asked me to babysit a little longer than I expected, and they ended up,
Okay.
they were running a little late, man, and we got through it, but got the kids to sleep, which was great, and they're doing great now.
Good to hear. Well, it was a bad week this past week, somewhat bad for you. I guess you were 7-7. That's not horrible. I was 4-10. I was hoping that the Cowboys won because that would have made us both 6 points. I mean, I'm still winning anyway. The total right now is Brett 47-32, and I am 50-29. So Brett did, in fact, narrow the gap. A lot of weird ones last week. It's just I know there was, but I just want to look back again just to touch, not talk about them, but just to bring it up.
Yeah, there's some weird ones.
Chicago won, Jags won, Atlanta won, Pittsburgh won,
Saints.
And then I had Arizona and Denver and Dallas, and the Raiders won too. We both had the Packers.
That's right.
I knew that game could have went either way, but Jordan Love decided to have a really bad game, and it didn't work. Didn't work out. Tomorrow game slam dunk. Yeah, well, I hope not. Of course, I'm going to pick the Chiefs, but it'd be awesome to see them lose. That's for sure. Really, just got to look at this real quick. Yeah, I've just been arguing with a million people on Instagram about how Daquan Jones isn't coming back this season because people assume that because TJ Watt came back in 6 weeks with a partial tear with no surgery, that Daquan Jones with surgery and a complete tear is going to come back in 6 weeks. So
right.
I have to keep arguing with people telling them that's not how it works. I don't know why McDermott said that they're possibly going to come back because that's just ridiculous. And so let's put it this way before we get into this. I don't want to talk about it for the rest of the night. We'll talk about it Saturday.
Yeah.
So let's say that they have a 3-month recovery, which isn't true. It's going to be a little bit longer, especially for Jones.
Right.
We'll say that in 3 months they'll be healed and ready to go. Right. In 3 months, the playoffs start. They will not play in the playoff game if they're cleared to play. They will not play because they're not in shape. They're not ready to play. They're not none of that stuff. So if in fact somehow they were healthy enough to play in 3 months, which they won't be, they won't play because they're not going to be ready. Physically, they're not going to be ready. And just to talk about it a little bit longer, a pec, when you tear a muscle, it has to be repaired. Then it has to heal before you can do anything with it because it's not healed properly yet. So like when you look at it like this, when you lift weights, your muscles rip and then they grow. When you tear it, it's completely disconnected. And you're not supposed to do anything with it. He has to take weeks to just get rotation back into his arm. So you think in 3 months he's going to come push around 300-pound offensive linemen and try to tackle people? No. If it was a partial tear, yeah, you could take a break for 6 weeks like Watt did. And yeah, Milano, I doubt it, but they haven't said how severe the fracture was. If it was very, very small fracture, which I don't know if it is, I don't think it is, then maybe he can come back. However, it's still broken bones that need to be fixed and healed. Then he has to rehab and get his leg back to working 100%, and then you're good. And apparently our information that we got was wrong. He didn't, in fact, the MRI did not show anything yet But once he gets surgery, it didn't show anything for Von Miller either. But when they went into the surgery, they found out Von Miller had a torn ACL. Same thing with Elijah Vera Tucker for the Jets. He went in back and played in the game. I think he went back and played in the game, and then he walked off the field, and then he tore his Achilles after they opened it up a little bit.
Right.
So apparently, Matt Chatter, he did not tear anything they said a severe MCL sprain, which I tore my MCL, and it's not as hard as the ACL, but still. But he didn't get surgery on his leg yet. Once they do the surgery, fracture is a break. I don't know what the break. I don't know if it's a clean break. I don't know if it's a bunch of pieces. I don't know how they didn't say how, in that point. That's why I'll say maybe Milano, because they're not putting any detail out about how severe the break was. If it was severe, it's going to take 6 months, 3 to 6 months to heal and get rehabbed and ready to play. So I'm not going to. I mean, people can think what they want. I just don't want to get involved in the false hope crap for our team. You have to learn how to play without them, and that's what we have to do. And we'll talk more about that Saturday. But getting back into weekly picks, it's just been so frustrating that it's already bad enough that Matt Milano is basically my favorite player, not counting Allen and Diggs, and to see him have to suffer through something like that and know he's not going to play anymore, that makes it all worse for me, and it's really frustrating, and it stinks. So that's why I've been getting angry at people saying like, "Oh yeah, they're going to come back. They're going to come back." They didn't get put on season-ending IR, so they'll be back. But getting into Thursday Night Football, as Matt Chatter says, this is probably going to be a very easy game to pick. Chiefs versus Broncos. Chiefs are favored 10.5. Not much to really say about it, I guess, Brett. I mean, the Broncos did play the Chiefs tough last year, both times. They should actually win both those games. Those were Russell's best games last year. He was horrible in the year. But then what do you have? I think it was the first game. He went off, and then he got hurt with like the last 5 minutes left, and then the backup went in and threw a pick, and they lost by like 3. But Russ was doing really good that game, and I think he did pretty good the second time too. But I mean, there's a world that the Broncos could win. I'm not going to bet against the Chiefs. I'm not putting any money on it either. But for weekly picks, I'm not going to put that as an upset or anything. So easily going Chiefs here.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing and go Chiefs. I mean, from what we've seen from the Broncos this year, it doesn't seem like Russell Wilson's going to show up enough, and he hasn't made a difference to show any reason why we should bet on him. And he's also, got a team that they're looking to sell assets right now. And, you got Pat Surtain, you got Alex Singleton as well, who's a linebacker that could become available too.
That's a great idea, because, he's always been a great tackler, sure tackler. Right. And I don't even know. I'm not going to you could research it and we could talk about it Saturday. I'm not going to fantasize about it yet, but I would love to bring a guy like him in.
Right.
Even over Pat Surtain, because he's going to be freaking bajillion dollars to sign, and I don't want to. I don't want to do that.
Well, you also have Cortland Sutton. You have Jerry Jeudy. There's a ton of pieces around them that they could sell, including there's some defensive tackles. I won't even get into it right now, but we'll talk about it later on. But they have a fire.
You mentioned Singleton, and I was just like, that's actually something that we could consider, because he's not going to be super expensive from what I understand. And, he could be a good Milano replacement. Is he a middle? I don't know if he's a middle or an outside, but is he middle?
He's middle, though, but you can always convert him to outside. I mean, it's not,
But I mean, he's a guy we could consider. But okay, we'll talk about that more Saturday. But yeah, so you're going Chiefs. I mean, for me, Chiefs. The Broncos, it's not. I think Russ is playing really good actually this year, but their defense is just so horrible that. So it's funny. Allen, Russ, and Justin Fields have 11 touchdowns, and I think Kirk has the most with like 14. It's just funny hearing Russ and Justin Fields up in the top touchdown conversation. But, their defense is so bad that, like you said, Russ can't, even if he's playing good, can't do enough to beat anybody, because they need to score like 40 points a game to win. Besides the week 1 game where they lost 17-16. So yeah, that's an easy one.
Yeah,
Got anything else to say
you
about
never
it?
know. I mean, hey, it was easy last week. We said all these games are going to be easy and everything, and then what happened? It turned out that we freaking laid an egg.
Yeah. Well, hey, if the Chiefs lose today, this week, then I'll feel less like when the Ravens lost. I was like, oh, okay, at least the Ravens lost because
Right.
they're a good AFC team going 3-2. The Steelers are 3-2, but still, like they gotta. I mean, they haven't played any besides the Lions. The Lions are the best team they played and they lost. So I mean, it's possible they could blunder, but I don't know. Then the London game of the week, Ravens and Titans. Uh, it's interesting because Harbaugh commented on the last time they went to London, they did what we did, and they asked him like what made them change their idea. He goes, "Because what we did last time didn't work, so now we're doing it this way." I think the Titans are doing what we did though. I think they decided that they're going to do, but that makes me think this is all a plan bullshit scheme that Roger Goodell's making them do to do a more testing because if the Titans know it's better to get more time over there. Why would they agree to? Yeah, you know what? We're going to leave Friday like the Bills did, and then the Ravens are going to be there earlier, and we're going to deal with
Right.
that. I don't. It makes me feel like they had like they drew the short straw or the short cigarette or whatever, and they're just like, yeah, I gotta now we gotta go late because it just doesn't make sense. It's I try to be like McDermott and trust the sports science, but the more I thought about it, the more dumb as hell it sounded. I was especially so say it was like this. Say Baltimore and Titans both left on Friday morning like we did, and they had the same
Right.
thing. Then okay, it makes sense. But if the Jags were already there for over a week, and even their players are saying they give us a huge advantage, and it was a big part of why we won, which ATN said. Uh, why would the Titans want to leave late? I don't know,
Right.
but the Ravens are favored -3.5, and the Ravens kind of got unlucky last week. I was trolling Ravens fans online saying Lamar is a bad thrower, and they were getting all mad, but they had a lot of drops and a couple of drop touchdowns, and they should have won this Pittsburgh game. Lamar threw the ball well enough to get caught for a touchdown, so I think they'll bounce back. And the Titans are always frisky, but
Yep.
I think the Ravens, because they're also getting there earlier, I'm going to go with the Ravens.
I'm going to go the opposite way, and I'm going to take a surprise and say the Titans are going to win this game. I'm not taking them as my upset of the week.
Even after you saw what happened to us, you're going to pick the team that's leaving late?
I mean, I'm picking, I'm going to take what I saw, from just a team that's coming in late that, they need to prove something right now. They need to prove that they're still can fight in the AFC South. And, Ryan Tannehill hasn't looked that great this year. Only one touchdown so far this year. Derrick Henry isn't looking the best either. So we'll see what happens. But I think that, this is going to be a game where the Titans will find a way to win it. And it's going to be close, but I have the Titans winning it.
Gotcha. This game was tough for me to pick. Falcons at the versus the Commanders. Falcons are favored -2.5. Man, the Commanders are reeling. They won 2 in a row, then they lost 3 in a row. You like to think that they can turn it around. I think they got talent, which is, I'm confused how they lost 3 in a row. The Falcons are that team that's just like, it's weird. Like you want to trust them, but then something's telling you not to. But the Commanders too, it's like you should have beat Chicago and they got blown out, which
Right.
was really, really, really weird because this whole time we thought, because even last year the Commanders defense wasn't that good because we thought they were missing people, but now they have everybody back and they're still not good. So then we're like, yeah, their defensive line can get pressures and stuff, but they're not changing the game like everyone thought they would. And offensively, if they get behind, it's hard for them to catch up. Sam Howell he got me 30 fantasy points that game, so that's he did pretty good. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a toss up. Yeah, I just think I don't think the Commanders will lose 4 in a row, and the Falcons, I don't know. It's week to week with them, and I feel like I'm going back and forth with them every week, and I'm either wrong or the week I don't pick them to win, they win. Then when I pick them to win, they lose. So I don't know, but they're 3-2. They're doing decent. I mean, Desmond Ritter had his, I think, best game his
Yep.
career, but he's still not that great. I think they're home, but apparently he's never lost at home ever in his life. So, I mean, I could have sworn he started the whole year last year and they won like 5 games, but I guess they were all
All at
home
home.
games. I guess they were all home games apparently, but
All at home.
I don't know. So that made me maybe I'll pick them, but I'm gonna go with Commanders here because I think they're not gonna reel any longer.
Well, I can't vote against Desmond Ritter at home. I mean, that's just a gimme
This will
right
be the
now. So
test.
I'm going to take the Falcons to get a win this week. I do like what Desmond Ritter did. I dropped him in fantasy this week or last week actually, and started Zach Wilson. And Zach Wilson laid an egg, and Desmond Ritter was actually good. So it kind of
Those are
bit me
your
in the
quarterbacks that you have in fantasy.
the sleeper league where we have you know no quarterbacks that are ever available. So I have Jalen Hurts as my number one, and then I had a super flex of Desmond Ritter
Okay.
in the
I thought
super
those were
flex.
your two quarterbacks.
No. I have Jalen Hurts, and then there's like nobody available. I think the only quarterback that's available right now is like Tyrod Taylor. That could play this week. So
Oh, he is playing. Daniel Jones
yeah,
he's not playing.
I don't think so, but I mean,
I think someone said he's out for this week because I don't know where I said it.
might have lost you, bud.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah, you just froze for a second. So
Yeah, I don't know where I heard it from, or I don't know what show I said it on, if it was our show or whatever. But I was mentioning how Daniel Jones is just getting absolutely destroyed and obliterated every game, and that he almost had to retire because of his neck injury that he had a couple years ago. And I told people to research it, like check out his neck injury. He almost didn't play football no more, and then now he's out because of his neck.
right,
That's why he's not playing. And I just said it the week prior that this offensive line and Dayball is always running them, gonna get him killed because he's running behind a horrible offensive line and he's just putting himself in danger, running up the middle and taking unnecessary hits like he did with Josh. And then now
right.
his neck injury is coming back and he's not playing. So I forgot. I think my friend that I'm doing, new friend that I'm doing we're doing a show tomorrow, New York Giants talk, for our preview for the week. I think he posted it that Saquon, that Daniel Jones is not playing and Tyrod Taylor is going to be starting.
Well,
But
you also have Darren Waller that's didn't practice today
yeah,
either. That's another major
they have a
thing.
huge laundry list, and I'm sure we'll know when he comes on the show tomorrow. He'll know more. But the next game, Lions versus Bucks. We better hope the Lions win because if the Bucks win, they're 4-1. We think it's going to be an easy game. It won't be. They do have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and we have corners that play soft zone and get beat. So it'll be a rough one. So hopefully the Lions can let us feel comfortable that this isn't a team that you need to worry about offensively.
Right.
So, but the Lions, they're 4-1. Can you imagine the Lions being 5-1?
I know. It's
That'll
gonna be crazy.
Competing for the 1 seed. I don't think they'd get the 1 seed. I think the 49ers are too good, but they're going to make the playoffs. The Lions are going to make the playoffs for sure.
Definitely.
And they're going to break their playoff drought, and then guess who'll have the longest playoff win drought in the NFL?
Jets.
No. Longest win playoff drought.
Win playoff drought.
The Jets have the longest getting to the playoff drought. There's another team that has the longest winless playoff drought.
Wouldn't be Buffalo though.
No.
I'm trying to think of who would it be. Would it be Dallas?
No. Dallas won a playoff game last year.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They did. I'm trying to think of who it is then.
It's in our division. You said everybody but the team.
It's not Miami though.
It is. They haven't won a playoff game in 23 years.
Really? Oh, that's right. Yeah. You're right.
So if the Lions win this year in the playoffs and the Dolphins don't, the Dolphins will have the longest playoff win drought. But I'm sure both teams will probably win a playoff game. But right now the Lions have the longest winless drought. But
I can't wait until it circles around and becomes New England again.
Yeah, it'll all come around. But I got the Lions. I mean, it was the Panthers, but they didn't have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, and they won by like 50. So definitely like what the Lions are doing offensively. And they were good on offense last year, and they're continuing to be good on offense, and they just look like a great football team, and it's fun to see because I remember, they do have nice uniforms, so that's why I feel bad for them sometimes. I like nice uniforms. They got nice uniforms, and they're always that team that stunk. And I remember watching them when they were playing the Bears on Thanksgiving, I think, when they were like really bad the last couple of years, and they almost won that game, and they choked in the last. It was that year where they lost like 9 one-score games, and they they were like 6-11, 6 and something. And I was like, man, I feel bad for those Lions. Like they work so damn hard. They try so hard to win, and they just keep falling short. I feel bad for them. I think it was the first year with Dan Campbell.
Yep, they worked their tails off that year.
Yeah,
I mean, they showed some grit.
They did. So I'm loving what I'm seeing for them. I'm going with them, the Lions, to win.
For my upset of the week, I am taking the Bucks over the Lions, and here's why. The Bucks are coming off of a bye week last week. They've had enough time to prepare. Their defense is getting really good. They have Todd Bowles as their coach. Their defense is looking pretty good. You got Levante David. You got Devin White as well. And with a week off, I think they're only going to be better. And it's, any given Sunday. So I'm going to take them for my upset of the week. That's a lock-in upset of the week. And I think it's going to be a comfortable one. You can say that, the Lions are looking pretty good.
3-1 and a 4-1 team is an upset.
3-1. Hey, the Lions are favored in this game. Don't get me wrong. Lions are favored in this game. So, you can say.
I'll have to give it to you.
I will take it out of upset of the week.
You can keep it.
I'll take it out. I'll take it out of upset of the week. That's fine.
I already wrote it down. It's in. It's set in stone.
It's a fair upset of the week. It is an upset because, I mean,
who would have expected it is an upset?
Who would have expected the Bucks to be this good?
I will give it to you. Then when you got, which is weird, the Niners are only favored by 4.5 versus the Browns. I mean, the Niners, if they stay healthy, they'll probably win a Super Bowl. They'll lose games this year, but
I just got a notification real quick. I just want to point this out before you begin, but this is Bills related, so I want to break the news on here. 2 Buffalo Bills executives have been fired just seconds ago for professionally unethical romantic behavior in relationships that they had. 2 executives, John Roth as well as Catherine D'Angelo, fired just seconds ago.
Never heard of them.
So, interesting news that's going on with the Buffalo Bills.
Bring more unwanted attention and problems to our organization by making people fired for dating and when nobody even knew who the hell they are. It's good. I don't know what their job is. I don't know what they do, but it's probably something important that isn't easily replaced. So let people do what they do. Whatever though. But yeah, I'm picking the Niners. They're probably going to win the Super Bowl. They're the most complete team. And they prove that you don't need an elite quarterback to win. Because he's got good stats and everything, but he's not, he's not like Mahomes or Allen or anything like that. And they got Ayuk and Kittle and McCaffrey and Williams at left tackle. They have a top 3 defense. Like, it's hard to lose if you're in that situation. And they don't. Deebo Samuel. So yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Christian. Can you imagine that?
Yep.
Wow.
Imagine having all that talent. So real quick, Sean, I want to get to this news about Buffalo just to let you know who these people are. They're 2 of the top executives in the front office of the Buffalo Bills. John Roth is the chief operating officer, not only of the Buffalo Bills, but also the Buffalo Sabres as well. And Catherine D'Angelo was the general counsel as well as senior vice president of business administration. They're both dismissed. So we have Josh. I don't even know how to pronounce this last name, but I'm going to try to. Dzor Likowski, this senior vice president of finance and business administration, is going to become the interim chief operating officer, as well as Jim Overdorf will become the senior advisor manager in football operations.
Wonderful.
So,
Sounds good. All right,
I'm
who
gonna
you got? Niners or Browns?
I had this San Fran. I mean, Brock Purdy is looking really good. You know, you heard from Rex Ryan what he said about Brock Purdy. He's looking like Joe Montana, not Joe Montana or whatever he said. It's something funny like that. But no, I'm going to take.
If Joe Montana played in today's NFL, he'd be a bum.
That's true. I agree.
That's the funny. It's just so crazy to think like, looked at as the best quarterback.
If Tom Brady played,
if you play,
sorry,
I was thinking of Joe Namath. Sorry, I don't know. Maybe Montana too.
Montana could
never good quarterbacks back in those early days could ever be good in this NFL. But
I think if Tom Brady was playing in this league, he'd not be very good either.
It's a different league, but all right. Saints versus Texans. Saints are favored by 1.5. I know the Texans disappointed me last week, but I got the Texans again this week. I think Stroud's been outstanding. D'Amico Ryan's got him playing well. Damian Pierce, I like Damian Pierce a lot. And maybe Motor Singletary can get more carries. I don't know. He hasn't been getting much. I think he only has like 20-something carries this week. So I'm going with the Texans, though.
Yeah, for me, this is a game that's kind of ugly, to be honest with you. But I'm going to go with the Saints just because I think the Saints are they're playing some really tough ball. I think that their defense is looking pretty good as well. Seems like the Houston's expectations are to win every ball game, which I love that emphasis, but they're going to go up against a tough defense. I think this is going to be the first game where you see CJ Stroud get an interception in his career. But I think it's going to be within a 1 touchdown game. We'll see what happens though, but I'm going to go with the Saints in this one.
The Saints are going to come marching in, huh?
Think so.
This is another easy game to pick. The Dolphins versus the Panthers. Dolphins are favored minus 13.5. As we already talked about, the Panthers are a really banged up team. Frank Reich doesn't got the boys playing good right now. Their offense has a horrible offensive line. Miles Sanders can't run. Bryce is just not what they thought he was going to be right away, which give him time. I mean, he could still be a good player. It's just nothing's working out for him right now. But it'd be awesome, but I highly doubt the Panthers can pull anything off. But I'm going with Miami, obviously, in this.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, the Carolina Panthers, they're playing in consecutive road games. That's one thing that you can take into effect on this one. And they're also a team that is the worst in the NFL right now. The only team that hasn't won a game this year. So it's been a rough year for Bryce Young and his team. But, they have Adam Thielen, who's looking like a really good wide receiver, but I just don't see a reason why they're going to improve and show up against this Dolphins team that, they're looking pretty good as well. So I think that this is just going to be an easy win for them, and they get a couple of easy matchups against the Giants and the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, I always want to see the division lose, so that'd be really awesome, but it ain't going to happen. Next game, Cincinnati versus the Seahawks. Cincinnati's favored minus 2.5. It's in Cincinnati. They looked good playing the Cardinals last week. I thought the Cardinals could win, but all of a sudden everything clicked for them. But I don't think it's going to click versus Seattle. Seattle isn't the Cardinals. And the Bengals did have a pick six that game on Dobbs, which made it look farther away than it was. But I think they won 31-24 or 31-20, and they got a pick six. So it was really, like a 4-point game. So I still don't think that they're back 100%. Yeah, they played good against one of the worst teams in the NFL, but everybody would. So the Giants scored 28 points in one half against the Cardinals. So
right.
Are they really, really back or what? I mean, I don't know. But Seahawks are always looking good. They had that one blunder week 1, but they've been on fire. They look pretty good. Geno's been good. They got Kenneth Walker. They got JSN. They got DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. So Going with the Seahawks.
Oh, man. You're just giving me the lead today. You're going to give me the lead. I'm taking Cincinnati, man. I'm going to go the opposite way. I think that Cincinnati is on a roll right now. Straight off the year, very rough, but I'm not going to rule out Joe Burrow yet. I mean, I think that he's got some good football left ahead of him. You look at what he did with Jamar Chase last week, and you knew that they had to lock up Jamar Chase. They couldn't do it, and
well, they are also a bad team.
I'm not saying they're a bad team. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I think they're underperforming.
The Cardinals. Right now.
The Cardinals are, a bad team, but I don't think that the Seahawks are a bad team.
That's what I'm saying. You got Tariq Woolen and you got Witherspoon, probably going to be defensive rookie of the year, and they're not going to be able to replicate what they did with Chase against the Seahawks defense. You got a chance to back out.
Watch and see. This is going to be a different story, man. I'm going to tell you.
All right.
It's going to be a close one, but Cincinnati finds a way to win it. You got different weapons on the offense. You got Joe Mixon, who hasn't done a lot this year. You got Tyler Boyd. You got not only Boyd, but you have also T. Higgins coming back. Hopefully, that would be a great sign if he does come back. Jamar Chase, Hayden Hurst as well. Actually, Hayden Hurst went to the he went to the Carolina, so I apologize about that, guys. But you got a lot of weapons there as well, and I just think that they're going to find a way to win it, and they need to get wins right now. That's the biggest thing. They need to get back in the AFC race, and they can't have another loss. So I think that this is a game that Joe Burrow is going to make a statement in, and it just seems like to me, and you might agree to this when I say it, Joe Burrow hasn't done enough this year to really show anybody that, he's in the MVP race. This is a game where I could see Joe Burrow going for 400, 500 yards and really putting that staple on, getting back into the MVP race too.
No, he's got too many bad games. Can't forget he had 82 yards in week 1. He had 2 touchdowns after 4 weeks. I think he didn't have a touchdown in 3 games. So too many bad, unless he throws for 500 yards every week and 5 touchdowns every game. There's no way he can. The way people like Tua and Allen and Purdy and Mahomes are playing, even McCaffrey, he's lost his chance. But their season isn't technically over. But I think if they lose here and they're 2-4, you could basically write it done. I mean, they could still win out at 2-4 and then make the playoffs, but they already lost 2 division games. So it's they got a lot of work to do. Next game, Jags versus Colts. Jags are favorite -4.5. I'm picking the Colts, not just because the Jags beat us, but when you go to week 1, their matchup, Zach Moss wasn't really playing. Jonathan Taylor wasn't there. And I think the Colts gave up 7 or 14 points off of turnovers or whatever, and they lost 31-20. It wasn't a close game. It was basically neck and neck up until the last couple minutes of the game. Now Zach Moss is on fire. Just Jonathan Taylor's back, and whether it's Anthony Richardson or Gardner Minshew, they seem
to be Gardner Minshew.
Oh,
they played Richardson on IR.
Oh, really? Oh, what happened with him?
He has a shoulder injury.
Oh, that's right. Okay. But yeah, Gardner Minshew, when he's been going in, he's been looking good. So as a starter, I think he'll do fine. And I'm not just picking them because the Jags beat us and I'm mad at the Jags. But
I think you are.
I was listening to that because we had the Monday night game. I was on a job and I was listening to someone's YouTube channel. He's a Colts fan. I forgot his name, but he was broadcasting the game. And it was basically a close game up until the end. And I was like, oh, they might win this game. Then all of a sudden, Jags were up by 11. And I was like, oh, that was weird. I don't know where that came from. So I think the Colts, they beat the Ravens. They're 3-2. They look pretty good. They beat the Texans, and the Texans beat the crap out of the Jags by 40. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting game. I think if Zach Moss can do what he's been doing and Jonathan Taylor maybe gets going a little bit,
right?
I think it'll be hard for the Jags to win this game. So I'm going with the Colts here.
I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to say the Jags are going to win this game after flying over from 2 weeks in London. I just think that they really have gotten some continuity with their offense right now. Trevor Lawrence is starting to warm up a little, and I think he's going to make a statement in this game and really they haven't had a game where they've won by a lot of points. I think this is a game where they're going to win by a lot, and their defense is going to show up as well. So I'm going to take the Jags to win this game, and I think the other Josh Allen is going to have a big day as well.
Love it. Also, that's gonna be my upset of the week, the Colts.
Okay.
I know they're both 3-2, but it is since yours is a 3.5 point difference, mine's a 4.5. So I'm looking at the rest of the games, and none of them are. The only upset of the week I could pick from this game would be. No, you know what? No, I won't pick them. I'll pick an actual upset.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick the Giants over the Bills. For my hey, that's worth like 3 points if they win because they're 15-point favorites. So
I will double it if they win. Okay,
no,
I'll double.
I can't.
No, I'll double the 3. I'll call double or nothing on it.
As much as I'm mad at the Bills, I can't pick against them. But this game gets interesting. The Vikings versus the Bears without Justin Jefferson. The Vikings are 1-4. The Bears are 1-4. The Viking season's virtually over. Especially if they lose this game, they're definitely over. And Jefferson's on the IR for 4 weeks.
Right.
So basically, the Viking season is essentially done. I still think the Vikings will win this game. The Bears did look good for the last 2 weeks, but they've also looked horrible for the last 3 years in a row. So I'm not going to put too much stock into beating the Commanders. Like, we beat them too, and then beating the who else, and then playing decent against the Broncos. They still lost also, by the way. So I think they're going to start going back down to earth. The Bears is, and then the Vikings are going to win this game. Jordan Addison's going to go off. He's going to make me a lot of fantasy points. And Kirk Cousins is leading the NFL with like 14 or 16. Is it 16 touchdown passes or 14?
14, I believe.
14, yeah. So yeah, I'm got the Vikings here.
I'm going to take the Vikings as well. I just don't see a reason why, especially with the way that they've been playing as well, for the Chicago Bears. I mean, I don't see a reason that they're going to find a way to stay in this game. I just think that the Vikings are the better team, even though their season is pretty much all done. I just think that they still have something to fight for. They're a better team all the way around, and I think they're going to show it.
Absolutely. Then you got the Raiders versus the Patriots. The Raiders are favored 3.5. We all remember what happened last year. Patriots Raiders. That game, if the Patriots won that game, then Dolphins wouldn't have made the playoffs. The Patriots would have made the playoffs, and they threw that one away. And people do forget that. I mean, they did make the playoffs first year with Mac Jones, and they missed it. And then last year, or was that last year? Yeah, I think it was, right? Because this is Mac Jones' third year, isn't it? Or no?
Are you talking about the play where Chandler Jones?
Yeah, but is this Mac Jones' fourth year or third year?
This is. I'm trying to remember. Man, you put me on the spot on these ones. I think this might be year.
Because he got drafted the year after Tua, right?
Well, think about the years that Tom Brady was in. Was the Bucs, so that would be
19,
20. Yeah, so year 4, I believe.
Okay, so yeah, so the first year they made the playoffs, second year they missed it, and then last year they would have made it if they didn't lose to the Raiders that week. And Jake said the Raiders will win 3 games. They're 2-3. I think the Raiders will win more than 3 games. They're not great, but this is a game will get them their third win. The Patriots will fall to 1-5. The Patriots, I mean, they scored 3 points in the last 2 games.
So I was wrong. Mac Jones is on year 3.
Okay, so then
first year was Cam Newton.
So last year was the year they missed. So I figured I think he got drafted the year after Tua, and
right.
So they would have made the playoffs 2 years in a row, but that blunder, because then it made it so it didn't matter as long as the Dolphins won, the Patriots couldn't make it no matter what.
Right.
And that could have been interesting. Could have been interesting. And so Raiders are going to get 2 wins in a row here, improve to 3-3, and then the Patriots season will be over, and then the AFC East will celebrate the demise, the 1-5 Patriots. But for how long will we celebrate, though? Because they're going to get a great pick. They might get Caleb Williams. They might get Harrison Jr. You never know. But I still think they'll fight. They're still Bill Belichick coach team. I just don't think they'll win this week.
This is a game where you have to think about this. Bill Belichick versus all his assistants. Okay.
Well, he
Bill
lost to
Belichick,
him last year.
he did lose to him last year off of a freak play. Don't get me wrong. But this is a game where I'm looking at it going, man, okay. Bill Belichick knows all the secrets of Josh McDaniels. Okay. It's not going to be a game where he wants to lose, especially after all the losses that he's had. 2 blowout games. You think that Bill Belichick's reputation is on the line? Absolutely, right now it is. And he's going to show up and he's going to show you that he's not going to lose 3 games in a row, which rarely ever happens with the New England Patriots. I don't even remember the last time they lost 3 games in a row. So I'm going to take New England in this game. It's going to be a close one, but I'm going to take New England to win this one, and I think Mac Jones is going to have a decent game, and he's going to bring home a win for the Patriots, but it's going to be closer than you think.
All right. If you want to pick the Patriots, that's on you.
The Patriots, I'm going to tell you.
That's fine with me. Now, here's going to be my upset of the week. I'm going with the Cardinals again to beat the Rams. See, I did pick the Rams to win, but now because I was like, oh, that's not fair. I guess the Colts aren't really an upset because they're a winning team. I guess I'll have to go the Cardinals. So I did have the Rams winning, but now because of Brett making me switch, I'm going to go with the Cardinals to win, even though I picked the Cardinals last week. The Rams are favored by 6.5, but screw the Rams. I know they got Cooper Kupp and Puka both playing. I got both in fantasy, different leagues, multiple leagues. So they're going to go off, but the Cardinals are going to surprise the world.
The Rams are going to win.
Just remember, everybody, I did have the Colts upsetting the Jags, and I had the Rams winning. But to show Brett what a real upset is, I'm picking the Cardinals.
I'm going to take the Rams in this one. I'm just going to be in the lead at the end of the week. You're going to go back. You're going to go back down. I think you're trying to be nice right now and give me the lead right now. Give me some hope and everything. I got you. I got your plan and everything. Okay. I'm going to take the Rams to win this one. I think it's going to be more than a 2-touchdown win. And you got Cooper Kupp coming back. You got Puka as well, who last week kind of underwhelmed a little bit. But I think this offense is going to start getting back on track. I absolutely love Tyler Higbee as a tight end. Think that this offense is going to get right back on track, and they're going to make a statement in this game and put the Cardinals right back in the bottom of the NFL again.
And the next week or the next game, you got the Jets versus the Eagles, who haven't played one good team again, just like last year. They're playing another losing team. So you can imagine the Eagles are going to go 6-0 because I don't think they played one winning team yet. And I think they played the 1-4 Patriots. They played who else did they play? The 1-4 Vikings. They played
the Rams last week.
They played the 2-3 Rams. They played
the Bucks, though. Don't get me wrong. So they did play a winning team.
Yeah, they did. Okay, so they did. They played one good team. Well, winning team, whether or not.
The Commanders took them to overtime.
Yeah, and the Commanders are 2-3, and they got another 2-3 team. So figures for the Eagles. They get all the great schedule, but they'll scoot by. They'll win this game. They'll be 6-0. They're like the Steelers of 2 years ago. They'll be 11-0, then they'll go 11-6, and then they'll get knocked out in the first round.
Wait until you see who they play next week.
Huh?
Wait until you see who they play next week.
Miami.
That's right. So they're not going to beat Miami. Yeah, they're not going to beat Miami. So I think
they can't because Miami's going to go 16-1 and win the Super Bowl.
Nah.
And Keith is there, so they can't lose. I feel he's going to be in Philadelphia with all those horrible fans that are going to throw beer bottles at him and throw hoagies with
they'll throw Philly cheesesteaks and everything at him. It's not.
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen. He's going to have some fun words. I can't wait until we hear like all the crap that's going to be talked about next week because he's going to have some words and everything that we probably have never even heard of that are going to come at him.
Yeah, you see, Bills Mafia and Philly fans are similar in some ways, but Philadelphia fans will throw beer bottles at little kids wearing Giant shirts and cowboy shirts and shit like that. So you gotta be careful when you're in the Eagles nest.
That's true.
They don't play games over there. So Keith,
No,
you better have your Eagles blanket to cover you on the way out and the way in, so nobody attacks you. I think
I agree.
He's from Philly, so he'll be fine. But I like to mess with my Eagles. A lot of friends that are Eagles fans. I always talk shit to them every day, and they're always there to text me when we lose, but they're never there when the Bills win. So I'm ready for the Eagles Bills game. That's for sure.
So
So
we watched the Eagles game at a friend's house, and he was having a baby shower during it, and all of a sudden the Wi-Fi kicked off, and it was like, I mean, it must have been like a really close game. I was like barely watching because I was watching the Jets game instead, and all of a sudden it was like a really important drive where the Eagles had the ball, and I think Jalen Hurts threw an interception at that point. So then, right when he threw the interception, like there's a run back, and the Wi-Fi just kicked off. So he couldn't see what happened, and he was all pissed off because it was an interception, like in the end zone, and he thought that he got ran back for a touchdown, and he was all pissed off, freaking out, like couldn't believe it. So I had to play it on my phone for the rest of the game, and he was watching it, and he's like, man, this is not the same as this freaking TV that I have. I have an 85-inch TV to watch this stupid game, and I can't even watch it. So he takes my phone and throws it across the room. I'm like, dude, you cannot do that. He was all pissed off at me. He's like, I'm like, dude, it's not my fault that the game got canceled.
That's funny. That's funny, man. Hope your phone's okay.
Oh, it's fine. It's right here. It's doing great. You can't really, well, you can see it now.
Yeah.
But it looks good.
Then you got the Bills favorited by 14.5 on Sunday Night Football. I'm not going to say much. If they don't win by 20 plus, then this is a horrible football team. The Giants are so banged up and basically have a JV squad out there. With all respect to them, they have one of the worst offenses in the league, along with the Patriots. So if we can't win this game by at least 20 points at home at Sunday Night Football and dominate them in every facet of the game, even though it's a win, the Bills should feel ashamed of themselves and something's wrong. So we'll talk more about the Bills Giants tomorrow on my channel with New York Giants Talk. We'll be here to give you all the Giants scoop, and then we'll talk about it on Saturday and Red, White, and Ruthless as well. So I'm not going to get really into it, but the Bills should win this game by a lot. If they don't, you should be concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the Bills to win this one easily. I think that this is the game where they're going to win by a lot. They're going to show that they, we're just tired after that game against the Jags, and they're going to show the NFL and the world that they're right back into the race in the AFC East, and they're going to be right back in it after the Miami loses to the Philadelphia, which might happen. I'm hoping and praying that happens.
Well, in my opinion, beating a team like the Giants doesn't prove anything. It doesn't move the needle for us at all. This is one of those games where you should dominate and win, and you're not back. Just like the Bengals aren't back for beating the Cardinals, we won't be back or on track for beating the Giants. It's a game you should win. You need to win, and you got to win by dominating fashion. Mainly for the fact that because they're so banged up that they're not even really full strength team, and they've been absolutely horrendous, which none of us really thought. I mean, we thought they'd be a lot better team, and with the injuries and nothing working out for them, we have no excuse not to blow this team out, and that's all I got to say. It's not going to move the needle for me. Yeah, sure, it'll be nice to win, but it's not going to make me feel any better after last week. And then you got the Patriots the week after, who also have a horrible offense. I think. Hold on, I gotta go to my friend, that guy's Instagram, because he posted a stat about the Giants' offense this year. So let me just find that really quick. We'll get to the last one and wrap it up.
So, Sean, I was going to bring up a comment real quick, not that's in the chat or anything like that, but just something that I was thinking about. And you remember how right now there's that comment that the guy made, Jack, I can't think of his last name that made it, but how that he was talking about Mac Jones being better than Josh Allen, and how that's been blowing up for both of us. Where you made a comment, I said my comment was Bills Mafia used me as a dislike button, and then your comment was everybody shouldn't have a microphone and be allowed to talk in front of a microphone. Well, he came up with another like episode a couple of days later and everything, and it was about the Bills and their schedule and how they're going to finish 5-12.
I saw that one a long time ago.
So yeah, they said that they're going to finish 5-12. Yeah. Well, you're saying that the Giants are going to beat the Bills like by he said by 30 or something, which is going to be crazy. He said something crazy about the Giants. So I just want to go back to that and think about it and go, man, I mean, Bills Mafia, you need to go on Instagram and I'll find the guy's Instagram and be able to tell everybody whose it is. But I mean, it's just been crazy what this guy has said about Bills Mafia and like he's talking about it.
He is a Patriots fan.
It's Jack COTE1 and Imagine Sports Podcast. So if you have a chance to check out that, you'll see all the videos that he has. But there's one comparing Mac Jones to Josh Allen and saying that Mac Jones is the second coming of Tom Brady and that he's going to be the best quarterback for the New England Patriots, which, okay, that's insane. But then you also have another comment that he made about the Bills schedule and how they're going to finish 5-12 in the division and everything. So check out those videos and everything. I'm trying to get Bills Mafia to not only help him out, but also give him some feedback and maybe he can learn from his mistakes too as well.
Maybe. But yeah, let me read this from New York Giants Talk on YouTube about the Giants offense. The Giants offense is averaging 11 points per game. Take the Cardinals game away, which they scored 28. And in the second half, they got shut out the first half. They're averaging 6 points a game. They have the lowest passing touchdown rate in franchise history. Jones' sack rate is 15.1%, which is double from last year, in which they gave up the fifth most sacks. At this rate, Giants are projected to give up 99 sacks, which would be the second most in NFL history. Offense has 12 points in the first half this season. That is 2.4 points per game in the first half. Offense has scored 24 points in total losses this year. That is 3 more points than the offense and special teams have given their opponents, 21. So, and this was 2 days ago when he posted that. So we'll talk. Me and him will talk more about the Giants game tomorrow. But just the fact that we need to win this game by dominant fashion. There's no reason why they should be competing in this game. So I just wanted to throw that last little thing out there. But let's see here. The last game, Monday Night Football, Cowboys versus Chargers. Cowboys are favored by 2.5. I'm going with the boys. They got dominated by the Niners. They didn't look good at all. And they're going to be ready to play this week. And the Chargers are coming off a bye, but they haven't looked that great this season.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the same thing. I'm going to say that the boys are going to win this game. I think that this is one where they show up and show out, and the Chargers defense is not looking the best either. So I'm going to take the boys to win this game and finish out this week with hopefully an undefeated week.
You? Hell no.
We'll see.
You think you're going to go undefeated? I thought I was going to go undefeated last week or 2 weeks ago, and I only had 3 losses. So I guess it's possible.
We'll see. Hey, that's that would be what? Because we have the Pittsburgh and Green Bay on bye week, so that would be what? 17 points is the most that you can get this week.
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, 17. If you get your upset.
You get your upset. So, hey. Actually, no. Wouldn't it be 6? Would it be 16?
No, the upset's 2 points.
So don't count the game. So it would be add 1 point. So you add 1 point. Wouldn't it be 16?
Oh, yeah, 16.
I'm just thinking in my head, hey, This is what happens when you have a public school education for two guys and everything. It never works out.
Yep,
Yeah.
16.
So 16 is maximum points that you can get this week. So, hey, I'm going 16-0. We'll see.
Well, all right. That wraps up week 6. Let's see where we're at. I'm at 50 and 29. He's at 47 and 32 this week. We'll see what happens next week. Go over to Go Bills Podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's keep getting his numbers up. Subscribe to Go Bills Podcast again. I already said Go Bills Podcast. Subscribe to Red, White, and Bills if you haven't. And then remember, we'll be with New York Giants Talk tomorrow. Me and him will chop up the game preview around 8 o'clock. And I know he just hit 2K, but head on over there, subscribe to him as well. I told him I'm going to be sending people over there to show him some love. And, he'll be honest and raw about the Giants. If you haven't checked him out, he's a great creator, and I stumbled upon him a little bit over a week ago. And, it seems like, I the same exact way as him, and when we're losing and when we're winning, and he's a great guy, and I had a little bit of conversation with him. Look forward to meeting him more, and come by tomorrow and check us out. It'll be a good show. And then me and Brett will be back on Saturday, Nickel City Mafia,
right?
Red, White, and Ruthless. Possibly having the debate show this week. It'll be Keith defending his title, and if I can't find anyone else new to oppose him, Brett will be trying to get his revenge.
For sure.
And, Keith's won the last 2 weeks, so he's dying to get off the throne. So you better start researching and practicing every question in the world that you can think of, and try to dethrone him. But I appreciate you coming on, Brett, as always. You're a great host with me, and I always enjoy this. And sorry that I'm beating you, but like the Bills always say when they lose, it's only week 5, it's only week 7, it's only week 10. It's a lot of football left, so
right.
There's a lot of football left, Brett. You can catch up still.
Oh, I'm gonna catch up this week. Don't get me wrong. I'll be in the lead. You'll regret having 2 bad weeks in a row. So that'll bite you in the rear end at the end of the season when I get some much needed. I think what I'm trying to remember. We bet on wasn't a jersey, was it at the end of the year, or was it?
I think so.
I thought it was a jersey. So I bet I did win another bet. So I have a couple bets that are going on, and I'll just keep it real quick before we wrap it up. So my buddy wanted to bet on Colorado. He said that Colorado wouldn't get past 4 wins this year. So I won that bet already.
They're at 4 wins.
So they're at 4 wins. I know. Well, he said that they wouldn't get past 3 wins. So they got 4 wins. So I think it was like the spread. I think that FanDuel said 3.5 wins was what they're projected to win this year. So he gave me the 3.5, and I said, okay, I'll take the over on that. Like, big deal. So I got it at 4 games, but there's double or nothing after that, where if they go to a bowl game, then it becomes even more. Well, I also bet on FanDuel when I was in New York, and I bet that they would win more than 3.5 games, which is what they're projected to win. So we put in some money, and we won $3,000. So both of us won $3,000 off of the bet. Then we also put money on Sanders to win Heisman. So I think the odds were like 7,000 or plus 7,000. So if we win that as well, it can be combined later on in the year. So we'll see what happens at the end of that. But we do have one where we can cash out, and then we'll get the 3,000. So we'll each get 3,000, which is great. Which, I mean, it was incredible.
That's awesome.
So we got a couple more that are going on too, but I got one with you, and then I got one with him at the end of the year. So I already won $50 from him. I can win double or nothing later on in the year if they get to a bowl game. So we'll see what happens.
Sounds good. Well, if you're watching live, head over to Nickel City Mafia, watch their Wednesday show. If you're watching after our show has been live already, and you're watching it the next day, head over to Nickel City Mafia anyway, subscribe and watch their show. We'll see you soon. Thanks for coming in. Go Bills.
Go Bills.